Hey, what's going on, Visionaries? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Superfast Saturdays. In today's quick tips or series of quick tips coming up, we're going to talk about some sort of 3 rules or 3 guidelines that I like to live by when I go ahead and start working on projects now. I didn't know this about 5 years ago, and I'm going to show you an example of how I didn't know this about 5 years ago. It's going to show. It's so bad. 3 rules or guidelines that I'm talking about is light, depth, and motion. These are things that I go ahead and keep in mind when I start to composite, CGI and, VFX and assets and everything inside the shot. We're going to talk about motion. Motion is very important. Motion determines why things are moving and how things are, moving inside your scene. So let's go ahead and throw 3 minutes on the clock. And let me show you how to get it done. Let me show you some bad motion. First example, let's go ahead and use this shot. I got the shot offline. The shot is a drone shot. It's obviously dialing back. Somebody shot it in 60 frames per second. I think I rendered it out in 24 frames per second. So things are slowed down already. So the first thing that I notice is how things are moving inside the scene, the light, and the depth inside the scene itself. In this case, since I want to show you guys what not to do as far as motion, I'm going to go ahead and try to composite smoke inside the scene. Back my scene, which I did, and I'm going to go ahead and use an asset that I got offline, some smoke. I'm going to go ahead and throw it inside my scene and just let it play back. And as you can see, the smoke is behaving in an unnatural way. It's not behaving in an unnatural way itself, but it's behaving inside the scene unnaturally because it doesn't belong there. The way how it's moving, it doesn't belong there. So there's a couple of things that I can do in After Effects. I can go ahead and try to slow it down by using Twixtor time remapping. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and try to, stretch out my little asset here to about, 200 frames and just see what happens. And, I played it back and like things are, moving slow as far as like the smoke and all that good stuff, but it's still moving unnaturally to me and my eye and my taste. The reason for that kind of go hand in hand for what I'm going to be talking about next week is depth. So motion is important, but depth is also important when you're up there working with assets that you download offline and assets that you create from the ground up. So in this case, this smoke element was shot up close, probably at 2K, and it was shot at 24 frames per second. So I can't really slow down 24 frames per second. It's like the moment that you start, trying to go ahead and slow down, real time playback stuff, you start to get this little weird frame drop artifact stuff start to happen. And that's pretty much what happened here. Secondly, it was shot up close. It was like up close. So whenever you want to use this type of asset, or any asset for that matter, that was shot up close in 24 frames per second, you need to make sure that you're putting it inside a scene that was shot 24 frames per second and you're using it up close. So things that need to be placed inside the background, make sure that you have like detail in them, but they don't need to be too detailed enough to be like, hey, this thing was shot up close. No, I hope I explained that correctly. I'm pretty sure next week I'm going to touch on the same type of subject as well. But depth will basically determine, even if you're building something from ground up level, how things need to be placed inside your scene, mid-ground or foreground. Your motion also plays a vital part in that. Once you go ahead and start training your eye and knowing how things should move, it will make you a better artist. The only way for you to go ahead and be a better artist is to keep doing this type of stuff over and over and over again. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you one of my projects from about 5 years. Another example of bad motion. This is what not to do. Everything in this scene is wrong. Like, please do not do this. But the fun thing about it is that if you're just starting off, you're gonna have to do this. Like, this is that evil deed that we all go through. It's gonna look bad the first it's gonna look bad, but here's a shot. It's me walking and it was shot at 24 frames per second. I was trying to slow it down using time remapping, and I did. It looks horrible, and when I punched the wall, that whole effect stuff looks horrible. As far as the motion, yeah, and the composite itself looks so bad, but the motion, pay attention to the motion of how when I punch it, things as far as like the dust, debris, and the smoke is just shooting out. I don't think I remember doing anything to try to slow this thing down or try to integrate it or nothing like that. It just looks all bad. Everything about it looks so bad. This is what not to do when you're compositing motion inside your scene. Like, do not do this. Another thing about motion is that depending on your clip or your shot, whether it be shot at 24 frames per second, 60 or 120 or 2, whatever, like the slow motion shots, they can vary. It just depends on the purpose of your shot and what you're trying to go ahead and convey to your viewers. Like, slow motion shots can go ahead and have VFX moving slow. You can have VFX moving normal speed, fast. It just depends on the shot, you know, and that's something that's going to go ahead and take time, and that's something that's going to be up to you to, you know, decide. That's a quick tip for the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified by any new releases that I post. For all you guys that are out there that are like me, that need that daily dose of Jesus in your life, before we end off the video, I want to go ahead and give you the verse of the day. The verse of the day is John 14 verse 6. Jesus said unto him, I am the way, I am the life, and I am the truth. No man shall come to the Father but by me. That's an amazing message. That's an important message. That's a message I think everybody should live their life by. But nonetheless, I will see you guys next week. I hope you guys have a blessed day and a blessed week. I love you and I thank you.